got one person away. No. I heard Jody. And welcome to UTMB on one of the most special days. I told George Seeley a moment ago, this is as good as a wedding and better than Christmas. This is all of it rolled into one. I want to welcome all of our friends and guests today who are here in the Ashbel Smith building, our Old Red. Are you having trouble with my mic? Okay, it's on. Okay, just being sure the mic is working. My voice is loud enough in this building, I think, for everybody to hear anyway. We've come together for a milestone celebration in honor of the Seeley Smith Foundation and an important and here, in the ongoing success of our mission, the Seeley family. George, we appreciate you, your grandparents, your parents, your children, and everybody who have made this foundation such an integral part. I think it's appropriate that we're kind of crowded in here today and that we're at a partnership desk, because literally this has been a symbol of what UTMB and the Board of Regents of the University of Texas have had with the Seeley Smith Foundation. It's truly a partnership that goes beyond any in America. It's nice to be here with those people who were instrumental in the founding of this school. Behind us sits vestiges of that. There are two doors here that opened into the original John Seeley Hospital. Patients were literally walked over or put over here into a gurney, on a gurney, and demonstrated to medical students. Dissections were done here. Not on live patients, of course. But,
were you a student then?
It seems like I may have been. Actually, since you brought it up, my wife's grandfather was a student in this classroom and graduated from here. 1911. Wow. Thank you. Wow. Our son graduated here, and Sharon and I both graduated here and had classes in this room. Wow. This is a symbol to physicians all over Texas, over 30,000 of them, of the work of the University of Texas. We are going to celebrate today, and I hope every one of you will leave here knowing what it is like to be a part of that. I want to introduce some really important people today. I'm going to start with the Seeley and Smith Foundation Board of Directors. To my right here is John Kelso. John is the president of the board. George Seeley at the end of the row here. Wave, George. George is the executive vice president. Mike Gordy, and then Jim Galbraith, and Jerry Peterson, Keith Bassett, and Doug Rogers. All of these gentlemen make decisions every week that affect our future in incredible ways. Make a sound path for us financially and help us jointly plan the future. From the office of the UT System Board of Regents, to my far left is Vice Chair Janice Longoria. Also, Regent Christina Melton Crane. Also, Regent Stuart Stedman and Regent Jody Jobs. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for being present today in this momentous occasion for us. For other people, it may sound like a trivial event. For us, this is a big deal. So, a really big deal for the city of Galveston and for the state of Texas. UT System, my good friend, I hope, and sitting next to me is Chancellor James Milken, who sets a vision for the entire system of excellence that is unparalleled. He challenges us every day to do the very best we can do. And we want to do that. We are the first medical school in Texas. And we are the first in so many areas that I can't talk to you about them all today. It would take too long. Also, our Executive Vice Chancellor for Health Affairs, Dr. John Zerwas. Dr. Zerwas, thank you for being with us. Also, the Vice Chancellor for External Relations, Communication, and Advancement Services, who guided many of the steps in this process, Dr. Rhonda Safferty. Dr. Safferty, thank you for all of your guidance and your help over the last many months of my presidency. It's been invaluable. Members of the UTMB Executive Leadership Team are here also. I'm going to start with Dr. Charles Mouton. Dr. Mouton, thank you for the excellent guidance that you have provided. During Dr. Mouton's tenure, we're adding a Department of Academic Emergency Medicine, a new School of Public Health, and we are this year recruiting 166 new physicians, both research and teaching physicians. That is quite an accomplishment. Dr. Tim Harlan is with us on this side. Tim comes up to us from the Denver Health System, where he did a stellar change in that system. He brings to us a wealth of knowledge, even had experience in managing prison health care systems, Regent Crane. And so he was a fast learner, has put in some innovations for us that were long overdue. Tim is the Executive Vice President and CEO of the health system. And lastly, in our team of four is Becky Karenik. Becky is the Executive Vice President, Business Development, and the Chief Strategy Officer. I overlooked one very important person among the regents, and that is a person who has roots here in this very campus. And last but certainly not least, General Counsel to the Board of Regents, Francie Frederick.
Yeah.
Francie actually used to, can I tell them this? Actually used to work here at UTMB and was also did some student work here.
Class of 67.
Look at that. So Francie and Sharon and I were around at the same time. So we are so glad that she's here for a visit today too and to be a part of this. Before we go further, I want to share with you a video that our folks have put together regarding the Seeley family and the Seeley Smith Foundation. This lasts 5 minutes, so if you're watching your clock.
And a milestone of $1 billion in gifts to UTMB, one of the largest ever cumulative contributions to an American institution. A foundation story intermingles a visionary, entrepreneurial family with a history of Galveston and the state of Texas. It begins with the patriarch, John Seeley. In 1846, a young man heeded the call of adventure and opportunity, leaving Kingston, Pennsylvania, to embark on a 1,600-mile journey to the young state of Texas and into Cali. E.D. Roll started the state's first public utility, a railroad, and a Galveston. John Seeley, along with his brother and other partners, in the decades to follow, would play a key role in starting the state's first public utility, a railroad, and a Galveston War Company, which managed the Port of Galveston.
You have to remember this is an old building and the technology.
And a milestone of $1 billion in gifts to UTMB, one of the largest ever cumulative contributions to an American institution. The foundation story intermingles a visionary, entrepreneurial family with a history of Galveston and the state of Texas. It begins with the patriarch, John Seeley. In 1846, a young man heeded the call of adventure and opportunity, leaving Kingston, Pennsylvania, to embark on a 1,600-mile journey to the young state of Texas From working at a dry goods store to owning his own business, John Seeley, along with his brother and other partners in the decades to follow, would play a leading role in starting the state's first public utility, a railroad, and the Galveston Wharf Company, which managed the port of Galveston. His influence would continue for generations after his death in 1884. His widow Rebecca and brother George designated John Seeley's $50,000 request for a charitable purpose toward construction of the first John Seeley Hospital. Opened in 1890, the facility not only brought much needed health care to Galveston Island, it also influenced the state of Texas to move forward with the establishment of the University of Texas Medical Department on Galveston Island. In 1922, John Seeley II, Jean Seeley Smith, and her husband R. Waverly Smith established the Seeley and Smith Foundation to ensure lasting support for the University of Texas Medical Branch. They served on the foundation's board of directors and continue to personally cover hospital expenditures and offset the cost of care for vulnerable populations on the island. All three structured their wills so that the majority of their combined wealth would be directed to the foundation's mission. In the 100 years since, the Seeley and Smith Foundation has provided extraordinary support for constructing and equipping state-of-the-art clinical facilities. Almost every building on the UTMB campus has claimed support from the Seeley family and the foundation. This includes 4 generations of hospital buildings and the Galveston Campus Emergency Room and Level 1 Trauma Center, one of only 4 in Southeast Texas. The John G. Seeley Hospitals remain the heart of the Galveston Campus Patient Care Complex. As the health sciences have evolved, so too has the foundation's philanthropy. The foundation has established 30 faculty endowments, collectively valued at more than $8 million. Understanding that recruiting and retaining the best medical faculty is vital to the mission of improving health. To spur advances in medical science, in 1986, the foundation issued a $25 million challenge grant to establish the John Seeley Memorial Endowment Fund for biomedical research. Valued today at $108 million, the fund provides critical support for a number of UTMB institutes. To establish the John Seeley Memorial Endowment Fund for biomedical research. Valued today at $180 million, the fund provides critical support for a number of UTMB institutes and centers of excellence. $7.5 million in foundation funding constructed the first full-size biosafety Level 4 laboratory to be built on the U.S. University campus. This unique facility and the expertise UTMB gained in developing it paved the way for a highly competitive $110 million federal grant to construct the Galveston National Laboratory. Most recently, the foundation funded almost $10 million toward COVID-19 research during the worst pandemic in a century. The foundation has also been there in times of crisis, such as after the 1900 storm and after 2008 Hurricane Ida. Seeley and Smith Foundation grants have allowed for resilient construction and renovation of mission-critical hospital facilities, protecting essential infrastructure from flooding, as well as providing an additional $30 million in recovery funds. And he continues to advance John Seeley and his family's commitment to the multiple. Seeley and Smith Foundation grants have allowed for resilient construction and renovation of mission-critical hospital facilities, protecting essential infrastructure from flooding, as well as providing an additional $30 million in recovery funds. And he continues to advance John Seeley and his family's commitment to the most vulnerable among us, with significant grants to support St. Vincent's House Clinic in Galveston, Galveston ISD's Teen Health Clinics, and the Ronald McDowell House of Galveston, all the way from home for pediatric patients and their families. With expertise in finance, business, and law, the Foundation's Board of Directors has always been and remains committed to fulfilling the historic mission to improve health promises to help the University of Texas Medical Branch continue to improve health for Galveston and well beyond for generations to come.
Thank you, and video team, thank you very much for doing the impossible in difficult circumstances. We appreciate your work. What a tremendous story of vision and action. It's one thing to be a visionary, but it's another thing to translate vision into action. And that is what the Seeley Smith Foundation has been able to do with UTMB. What a tremendous testament to the power of philanthropy also. What a difference that makes. We are so pleased to celebrate the establishment of the Seeley and Smith Foundation 100 years ago today. It's a tremendous occasion to celebrate. So George, it is of sorts a birthday party. Happy 100.
Man, I want to tell you, I wasn't there.
Well, almost. We are equally pleased to express our deepest gratitude for the $1 billion in contributions that the foundation has made to UTMB over the past century, and to recognize the Seeley family's personal philanthropy that helped build UTMB in those critical first 30 or 40 years of its life. Chancellor, as I went back and looked in the proceedings of the legislature and all in our history books, it was true that the University of Texas was underfunded even back then. It's not something new. So thank you for all you have done, Seeley Smith. It makes us different. The things that we have that others don't, we are blessed. The healthcare, particularly in this area of the state. Those contributions have done so much for the health of Galveston, and because of the resulting growth UTMB has experienced, we've also been able to improve the health and well-being far beyond our aisle. We've taken on a global sense of achievement. It is fitting that we're celebrating this remarkable legacy from this very special place where the first UT Medical Department students attended their first class in the fall of 1891. And those immortal words by our chancellor after the 1900 storm that said, "We stop for no storm." And we have not stopped since. Even our furnishings are historic today. Chancellor Milliken, John Kelso, Janice Longoria and I are sitting at a desk owned by George Seeley. The George Seeley. The first George Seeley. And I guess it's owned by you too, George Seeley. Brother and business partner of John Seeley. Today, I feel this proud history is all around us. Again, we are shoulder to shoulder in a very small place. We are shoulder to shoulder. That makes us strong and makes us able to do the things we currently do. At this time, I'd like to invite our Chancellor, J.B. Milliken, to say a few words on behalf of UT System Administration. Chancellor Milliken.
Thank you, President Raymer, and thank you for reminding me of the Western Union telegram from the Chancellor in 1900 saying the University of Texas stops for no storm. I keep it on my office wall to remind me just how wrong chancellors can be sometimes. It keeps me humble, and I am always repeating that mistake. It's a privilege to be here on behalf of the UT system for this event, celebrating the enormous, enduring impact of the Seeley and Smith Foundation. It's no surprise that the foundation and the UT system have been so well aligned for so long because we both have embedded in our missions service to Texas and a commitment to its future. The role played by the Seeley and Smith Foundation over an entire century is truly unique in higher education and in healthcare. And as Dr. Raymer said, it's not just the vision. Because it's a vision for a healthy, stronger, and more vibrant society, but it's the action behind that vision that has made everything happen. The Seeley and Smith Foundation, guided by John Seeley's bequest, has acted to ensure that the University of Texas Medical Branch meets the needs of Texans year after year and decade after decade. I know I speak on behalf of the entire UT system when I say we are proud to commemorate the man, the family, and the foundation that have been such a vital part of the medical branch's DNA. But I can't make this commemoration official. For that, I am going to turn to the leadership of the University of Texas System Board of Regents and ask Janice Longoria, the Vice Chair of the Board of Regents and a member of its Health Affairs Committee, to make the announcement that will permanently reflect the deep bond between the UT system and the Seeley and Smith Foundation.
And before I do that, let me just say how much I love Galveston. Every time I come to the University of Texas Medical Branch here at Galveston, I'm always in awe of everything that's been created, of the energy here, and of the great impact that this institution has, not only to Galveston, but to the entire region of the state of Texas. So with that, on behalf of the University of Texas System Board of Regents, it's my duty, but most importantly, my great privilege, on behalf of the Board of Regents, to announce today that the board enthusiastically accepted the recommendation of President Ben Raymer and Chancellor J.B. Milligan, and unanimously voted to name in perpetuity UTMB's medical school as the John Seeley School of Medicine. May the next century of education, healing, and discovery, so generously supported by the Seeley and Smith Foundation, be as successful and impactful as the last century.
I'm going to turn the microphone over to Mr. John Kelso, Chairman of the Seeley and Smith Foundation Board, for remarks. John?
Thank you, Dr. Raymer. On behalf of the Seeley and Smith Foundation Board of Directors, I want to thank President Raymer, Chancellor Milligan, and the University of Texas System's Board of Regents for this tremendous honor bestowed on the Seeley and Smith Foundation and the Seeley family. I also want to thank everyone who's joined us today for this celebration. In preparing for the Foundation Centennial, my fellow directors and I have spent a lot of time reflecting on what John Seeley and his family set in motion here in Galveston. We have seen so much good from what started 100 years ago. The positive impact on the health of Galvestonians, the generations of doctors and nurses trained on this island, the worldwide influence of UTMB research, such as our labs and gifted scientists. It's a treasure. As a board, we are all so humbled to be able to continue the Seeley family's legacy of philanthropy and the service of the community through UTMB. As healthcare evolves, we feel a responsibility to carry on their desire to continue improving the health of the residents of Galveston. Because of what UTMB and the UT system have created here, we also see a great benefit to our state, our nation, and the world. I think John and Rebecca Seeley and their children will be very proud to see the tremendous progress and promise of this special place. Here's to a bright future ahead for everyone. Thank you.
You know, the phrase "thank you" is so brief and so short, and yet it can convey so very, very much. Thank you, Seeley Smith Foundation, for the visionary support. And Seeley family, thank you for having that vision 100 years ago and even decades before to set all of these things in motion. to create a better environment for people who live here on this island. Thank you for the leadership of the University of Texas System Board of Regents, for the high aspirations you have for achievement, and for your ability to hold all of us, yes, even presidents, accountable for achieving those goals. It's a good feeling to know that you have our backs and we have your support. Thank you for the dedication of the executive team that I am blessed to lead. I have some of the best and brightest people that going down into the depths of our research labs, into our operating rooms, and to our clinics over a wide swath of land, not just Galveston Island alone. Thank you for the dedication of the system that supports us here, that includes education and our health system. You know, we would not be here except for one reason, not just the Seeley Smith Foundation, but the ladies and gentlemen in these white coats here. Yeah. They are the reason we exist. They are the healers and healthcare providers of tomorrow. You're seeing just part of them today. You're seeing a few of our very, very best. But they reflect the best Texas has to offer. And it is our job to be sure that when they leave here with the University of Texas at Galveston, John Seeley School of Medicine degree, this and every year subsequently, that they will be the best doctors in Texas. Rest assured they have had the equipment and the teaching to do that. I am proud of every one of them. They will in turn make us proud as they go forward, teach, heal, and change the world. Our students today are about changing the world. So thank you all for being here. For our in-person guests, thank you, and hang around. We have more to come. For those who've joined on our video link, thank you for being here with us today. The full ceremony will be placed on your websites for the future. We are going to sign, right? The Chancellor reminds me we need to make this official. So we're going to sign, and Regent Longoria will start that process, and we'll, for Mr. Seeley's benefit, George, we're going to make it official.
I'm so pleased I can't tell you.
But also, we've done the formal, but we also want to capture the signatures of a number of other people. So Ms. Crane, Mr. Giles, Mr. Stedman, Dr. Zerwas, if you'll affix your signatures here as we adjourn. And George Seeley, you're at the top of the list here to sign, along with Mike Doherty and Jim Galbraith, E.J. Peterson, Keith Bassett, and Doug Rogers. Thank you all for being here today. Instructions, there are going to be pictures next. So I'm going to stay out of that. There are people to pose those and all, so we will move directly to that. Going to ask people who are in the higher seats to go ahead and take the doors into the third floor, if you will, and you'll find it less treacherous than going down the stairway here. Others may take the elevators that are out, okay? Obviously, this was probably one of the ways that we determined who could be a doctor back in that day. Yes, we are.
And those
Yeah. Right.